Ka me ah me stroke
Do 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 shala, hey
Hey
shala.
shala you that is making up words. I'm just making up words right now. Da na 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 shala. Hey shala. Making words again because I don't know the Japanese. Alright, we're here to discuss about the recent Dragon Ball Z film, Battle of Gods. I liked it, quite a bit in fact. There are some tidbits I enjoyed more than others. There were some surprisingly subtle elements that made me overjoyed. There was a central portion of it that I despised with every fiber of my being, and there was an ending that in many ways felt like the genuine perfect ending that the whole Dragon Ball Z, or actually the whole Dragon Ball story, never truly had. But again, I am going ahead of myself. What did you think of this film, Devar?
I liked it a lot myself as well, compared to any other movies or even the Dragon Ball Z series itself.
Yes, this is good. I'm going to piss somebody off, but this needs to be said. This might be easily the best product out of Dragon Ball Z that's ever been released. Which doesn't take much effort because, let's be honest, Dragon Ball, the whole story of Dragon Ball, the character's progression, which is virtually inexistent, the Deus Ex Machina of the Dragon Ball that kind of kills off the tension because nobody really ever dies, and all these other little elements, the perennial sausage fest that is shonen action anime, and the misogyny and all these other little elements running around, had dumped down Dragon Ball Z to be something really not quite smart, to put it euphemistically. But the reason why we enjoyed growing up Dragon Ball Z is because, well, the fighting, most of it, but with the TV budget that it once had, we would have to have a lot of filler before seeing some actual fighting. And there wasn't really anything else that was interesting about it in that respect. I mean, the villains, some of them were interesting. I'm going on a tangent here, so stop me, please. But I'm trying to convey my feelings about this is that the Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods did almost everything right. There is an actual arc for Goku that's not the usual, hey, Goku meets this super powerful enemy that defeats him the first time, but then he goes back and beats him the second time because he's somehow stronger. It seems to go that route at first, but it's more of a trap to the audience. Because there is a new spin to the story, or to the... Goku actually does end up maturing at the end of the film. And you really feel that he's going to grow up, that he's grown up as a character, which is a feel we never had for him in the 200 plus episodes that he was present in the actual show. So I'm
telling me
I'm the only one talking. I want to be more of a I want this to be more of a back and forth thing. So Devar, what did you like specific about this film?
Before I get into that, I would like to bring up a couple of things that always niggled me about the original DBZ at first.
DBZ. That's the British pronunciation.
Or well, DBZ should be more exact.
No, I met Dr. DBZ once. He was a nice person.
There was 3 reasons why I couldn't get behind Dragon Ball Z. I mean, I liked it as a show. It was good on the action, and comedy was generally good when it in certain cases.
Honestly, looking back at it, I thought the comedy was mostly cringe-worthy. I mean, Master Roshi, or Master Muten, if you're in Italy.
Yeah.
Let's face it, he was never really funny. He was the stereotypical old pervert, except he was actually the first one to ever be introduced to anime. After him, it started a fashion. Now old geezers that fap over younger women are commonplace in anime.
Especially now that Gandalf is probably one from Zero no Tsukaima.
I don't even want to know. I don't want to know.
Or right. Dumbledore. Anyway.
No, Dumbledore is actually gay, so then...
Yes, I was... Never mind. Anyway.
Okay, stop, Devar, stop mentioning fanfictions and get to the point that you were trying to make.
Well, you kind of jumped off, you kind of pushed me off the tracks at first, but anyway.
Shut up, Devar!
Shut up, Madhog!
No, you shut up! I'm going to Kamehameha Hadouken your butt!
Okay, back to the topic at hand. There's 3 things that I really disliked about it. And 2 of these actually got in... Well, let me think how to say this. 2 of them didn't rear their ugly heads into this movie. And those 2 were that, 1, there was a break of the balance, so to speak, from the usual norm that kind of makes me roll my eyes. And that's basically is everyone counts on Goku to win and no one else can do better.
Yes, but again, what I like about this film is that they seem to be playing the usual Goku is the strongest one card and nobody can do anything else. But like I said, in the long run, especially in the ending, you realize that was the movie actually being self-aware about the weakness of the franchise as a whole, and playing those weaknesses against the audience's expectations. And we're going to reveal that how later on, when we're actually going to spoil the entire film. But for now, we're just in the superficial
overview.
Overview, yes. But Devar, so what's this? So what's the other thing that bothered you about?
The other thing that usually tend to bother me was, let me think, because I'm trying to remember what it was, because I talked to you about this not so long ago. Should have really recorded that instead. But, usually the humans get the,
Oh, that.
Yeah, that one. If you're a human, then you're screwed. If you're not an alien...
Well, unless you're a human turned cyborg. But then
Does that even count?
The androids, aside from Android 16, were actually humans turning into cyborgs. Well,
I knew that much.
Android 16 and Android 19, actually. Because Dr. Gero, or however you pronounce it, and also in 17 and 18 being actually the hottest baby in the entire cast, if you ask me.
I agree with you there.
Everybody knows that, it's fact, and Krillin gets a little of that. How about that? Honestly, you know what? Who cares? Who cares if the humans are virtually useless or powerless in compared to Saiyans and even gods? Krillin is a human and he gets the hottest babe in the cast. That makes more than up for all the onage he's received throughout the years. The poor guy.
Karmic justice for the little guy who's always been there through tough times.
Yes, the underdog gets his reward, and he looks like Kiki that's still driving her sons insane, and then he looks at Bulma, who is other naggiest in this film, but also other ballsiest, I have to admit, and he says, "Haha, I got so lucky."
Anyway, I can't remember the third one, sadly.
Enough with the gratuitous misogyny here, so...
I cannot remember the third reason, sadly, right now, so maybe...
Yes, maybe the third reason is the most obvious flaw of this film. The fact that coming when it comes to the middle of it, to the middle of the duration, the pacing grinds to a monstrous halt for no for no understandable reason. They just decided to introduce Emperor Pilaf. Freaking Emperor Pilaf from the original Dragon Ball series, who made also an appearance in Dragon Ball GT, which is by now completely out of the canon. Thankfully.
Yes, thankfully.
So thankfully. But it doesn't, that part, there is this whole subplot with Emperor Pilaf and his two lackeys, Mai and that fox guy that had been turned into kids by a previous wish that happened off screen, and they're trying to get the Dragon Balls again, and then young Trunks, kid Trunks comes along and he has a crush on Mai and they pretend to be boyfriend, and that doesn't go absolutely anywhere. It's completely pointless. And then there is Gohan. Gohan is the epitome of idiocy in this movie. He just sees this little girl, which is Mai, which is technically a 41 years old adult in the body of a child because of a bad Dragon Ball related wish, which is keeping Trunks hostage. Of course, he wouldn't be completely. He would be safe because they are Saiyan. But nonetheless, she is using a real gun. He not only does not realize that's not a real gun, nobody realizes that that's a real gun.
So we just thinks it's a toy.
He dresses up as his masked hero persona, which I always despised.
The Great Saiyaman!
The Great Saiyaman, the great dumbest name in existence. And when the girl actually shoots at him, what does he do? The big idiot. He just deflects the bullets so they can actually go and hit everyone else in the audience. Which, because it was a party and there was a lot of people, and they become magic bullets that could kill anyone, because instead of stopping them, he deflected them. The freaking idiot! And you know what happens? A bullet reaches Videl's leg. Videl's being the Gohan's girlfriend. The flipping idiot just injured his own girlfriend with his carelessness. Gohan is by far the worst thing in this film. My gosh, this is a stupid girl. And then what does he do? Hey, you little girl, you shouldn't be playing with guns. They are dangerous. Grab that girl, bring her to the authority, tell them she was playing with a real gun. Common sense, Gohan. It seems to me that, okay, Gohan used to be this really smart kid when he was young, but it would seem that growing up he is completely now stupid. Growing up, he's lost his brains completely. He's a complete buffoon of a non-entity, of an idiot, and
Apparently in the Dragon Ball universe, growing up means losing all common sense of reality. That's the only explanation.
Okay, so we kind of jump ahead a lot talking about this one thing that bothered us so much in the middle of the film without actually giving you the context for the film. So we should actually start talking about the actual plot of the film.
Yes, so
and
from this
so
point on...
so that you can realize how much completely pointless is this whole scene, and how in pointlessly long also it is. So Devar, lay it down for us.
It is Bulma's birthday!
Already I am cringing in the inside.
Yes, but at the very same time, Lord Bills, the Lord of Destruction, as
Bill-sama, also known as the greatest Dragon Ball character ever made.
Agreed.
Hands down.
I love this character.
He is amazing. He is the Q of the Dragon Ball universe. And we're going to explain why.
Let's put it this way, folks. Any villain that needs explosions to wake him up from his slumber has to be awesome.
Yes, this guy has actual alarm bombs to wake up in the morning. He sleeps like for 15 years, then he wakes up occasionally to destroy a galaxy or two, because that's kind of his job, his day job. He is the god of destruction. Which actually makes... okay. Okay, and the funny thing, this guy is basically an anthropomorphic cat. That's what it is. He's a space cat. And he's the most powerful entity in the entire universe. And we're not just saying, he's the most powerful entity of the universe, just like Frieza was. No, Frieza was full of bullcrap. Let me tell you. This guy, he is the real deal.
You can tell he's the real deal based on the planet he comes from. Well, like a dimensional planet or something like that. I forget the detail on that part.
No, let me put it this way. This is the subtle details that I really enjoyed discovering in this film. They really make all the difference about this antagonist.
Yep.
Apparently, his power is so superior to everything else in the universe, so unfathomable and unreachable, that Goku and the others are not even able to sense his power level. To sense it. They're not even able to sense his ki. Which means the film is basically implying that he's so completely on another league, that he's so completely beyond comprehension, that his power cannot even be grasped by lesser mortals. That's quite impressive.
Indeed.
But if you think about this guy is basically like an elder god. He's an existence that far exceeds and surpasses whatever a simple mortal life form could possibly fathom, and he plays an important role in the very structure of the universe. Because destroying galaxies, destroying life, actually permits new life to be reborn from the ashes. Is the cycle of the universe of life, death, and rebirth being repeated as it needs to be by the modus operandi of the juggling between the god of destruction, bringing death, and the gods of life, which are the Kaioshins, causing new planets and galaxies to be reborn. It's again, it's the cycle of the universe, which parallel to that, it also is also the cycle of life itself. The lifespan of a human, the human race, the human condition, parallel to the cycle of the universe itself. So on one hand, we have this entity that completely exceeds every possible fathoms. But on the other hand, he is still a guy that would destroy a planet over pudding.
You jumped the gun on that one there.
No, this is absolutely great, because this guy is the god of destruction. He has a job to destroy galaxies for the balance and all of that, all philosophical 2001 Space Odyssey thingies going on. But on the other hand, he can be completely childish, juvenile, and petty about anything whatsoever. I mean, he could kill off entire civilizations because he was having a bad day, because maybe they didn't like the music, or the party wasn't funny, or the food was bad. He would blow up something because of that. He is absolutely the beautiful thing that this film does, really nails it with the characterization of this antagonist, is that they manage to make him both fun and enjoyable when he wants to be fun and enjoyable, but he can switch. But he can switch modes. but he can switch modes like that and become instantly threatening. and for a writer for Dragon Ball Z, that's saying a lot, because if you think about it, all villains in Dragon Ball Z are always there's always black and well, up until Majin Buu, but Majin Buu is a unique case. We're all it's all black and white. I mean, the villains are villainous, you know that they are villainous, and the good guys are the good guys because you know they're good guys. Maybe there is a character like Piccolo or Vegeta that they are transitioning from bad to good, but it's otherwise very much black and white. This guy is actually comes off as morally ambiguous, and because of that, completely unpredictable. Not exactly a full-blown villain who wants to, you know, destroy things for the sake of destroying and proving that he's the strongest. No, this guy, this cut person, knows already that he's the strongest and he's kind of completely unmatched in this universe, sort of. So he just wakes up in the morning and he wants, I feel like fighting another god, if there is such a thing, to keep me occupied. It's some sort of a side hobby. I really have to have fun today. Maybe I'm going to blow up this galaxy or not, but come to think of it, he's kind of a lousy god of destruction for that matter. He doesn't. All he wants to do is eat, sleep. And fight a god when it counts. And party. Oh, the guy parties hard, let me tell you. But we're getting to that. Okay, so what happens with this guy?
He goes off to fight Goku, of course.
Yeah, because
see King Kai anyway, and then fights Goku.
Because Goku just happened to be there training, which raises a whole bag of questions. What happened to Ab?
That's another thing I was wondering.
What happened to Ub, or Ab, or what happened to that kid that was the reincarnation of Majin Buu? Did they just forget he existed? That angers me quite a bit, honestly.
To be honest, you're not the only one who gets angered at Akira Toriyama forgetting characters, because Dragon Ball had this one character called Launch, and she was...
Yeah.
And everyone got apeshit crazy that she was forgotten by the time Dragon Ball Z came out.
I know. But then again, there wasn't really nothing to do with this character. Oob, on the other hand, was the incarnation of evil Majin Buu, and was going to be Goku's apprentice at the end of Dragon Ball Z. So, again, already, one was expecting, hey, Oob is going to have a major role when Dragon Ball GT comes out. Yeah, keep hoping on that. Instead, what do we get is Goku turning into a child for no apparent reason, and then thrown into a space journey to get the 7 additional red
Dragon Balls that are black and red.
But, okay, you know what? I can be on board with that adventure. Okay, so you're going to space. Who are you going to bring along?
Piccolo, Krillin.
Are you going to bring Oob? You're going to bring, I don't know, Vegeta or Piccolo or any of the better characters? No, he brings along nerdy Trunks that has grown up to be the most boring, for some reason, Egghead. He wasn't like that. Ever concede. And his nephew, which is a character that we never knew anything about, and she's acting like a complete tsundere all the time.
And
she doesn't even turn to Super Saiyan. You know what? It doesn't matter. Dragon Ball GT is dead, is out of canon. Thank you, Battle of Gods.
Yes, Battle of Gods.
That reminds me, we were actually trying to talk about this film before.
Yes, we were supposed to try and talk about it.
So basically, what happens is that Bill Sama once had this prophecy about the Super Saiyan God, which is supposed to be the ultimate level of Super Saiyan one can reach, which can only be accomplished with some very contrived means that I'm not going to divulge into. But he doesn't know how to find it. He doesn't know where to find it. So he's going after the guy who defeated Frieza. which is Goku. He finds him immediately, and actually, I rather enjoyed this first encounter between Goku and
Bills.
and Bills. Because it didn't look like something that could escalate into a fighting. Actually, it looked like someone important comes along, but he's kind of quirky, and Goku is a bit quirky too, and says, "Hey there," and Kaioshin is wait, it's not Kaioshin,
No, it's King Kai.
King Kai is like, "No, Goku, what are you doing? Show respects!" and forces him to bow down. And Goku tries his hardest to be respectful and humble, but he just can't because he's Goku. He's just when he finds someone strong, he just wants to fight him because he's an idiot like that. And so he asks Bill-sama, "Hey, Bill-sama, wanna play fighting with me?" And then Bill-sama's like, "Okay." So Goku is like super cocky, and he's become very cocky, really.
Yes.
He definitely. I mean, Vegeta has humbled himself and become a better person for that. Goku has stayed the same. This cocky greened idiot. So he turns into Super Saiyan 3rd level, and he's don't be mad if I'm going to hurt you. And Bill-sama is like, and Bill-sama defeats him with a finger in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And only because he was playing around, because he wasn't. I'm pretty sure he wasn't using even half of his strength.
Nah, he was just basically messing around with Goku.
And he destroys him in 3 moves, and then says, "Okay, this guy doesn't know anything about Super Saiyan gods, and he clearly isn't the one I was looking for. So now I'm going to Earth." And King Kai is like, "Would you please not destroy the Earth?" And Bill-sama is like, "If I am not too annoyed, the Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods." Okay, he goes to Earth. So what happens next, Devar?
This is my favorite bit.
Yes, me too.
He gets to the party, and immediately Vegeta knows who he is.
Yes, because he has this flashback in which he remembers his father being completely humiliated by this being. And you know what? In context, that actually makes a lot of sense for Vegeta's characters in the long run. That's why he didn't really care when his fathers died, because he kind of completely lost all respect about the old man when he saw him bowing down in that flashback. Bowing down before Bill-sama, and Bill-sama was basically keeping a foot on his head. The context, the reason for all that escapes me, but apparently it happened.
I just love this. Vegeta takes it upon himself to make sure that Bills does not get angry or annoyed during his stay.
Spends the entire time trying to please him, even throwing away his dignity to do so he might have a good time. And now there is a montage in which Bill-sama starts dancing and eating and having a good time and Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. That's the film you're watching, and it's hilarious, but it's not exactly living up to the expectations, but it's funny.
I just love it because it reminds me so much of what Dragon Ball was about. Basically, more about the comedy and less on the action, with only some action here and there. If I remember correctly. Then again, I've not watched it in since
the first part. The first part of the original Dragon Ball series, when Goku was a child, was more similar in tone to
Dr. Slump.
Dr. Slump and Ara. I was going to say that. Yes, Dr. Slump, which was all comedy of the lowest brow possible, but still comedy, and so with some occasional serious fighting thrown in it. But basically, Akira Toriyama learned to draw fighting scenes by drawing Dragon Ball. That's what I'm not saying anything groundbreaking here, but yes. So I like that. I like that, and also this whole central part, well, excluding the awful and completely pointless pilaf segment.
To be honest, I'm joining you on that one. The Pilaf section could have been... You could have cut off all of Pilaf's scenes and it wouldn't have mattered in the slightest.
Yes, the only thing that scene accomplished in the longest run was, the whole deflecting bullet affair that stupid Gohan did at the end of it.
Oh yeah, that one.
Okay, it accomplished two things. For once, one bullet hit Videl, so that the God, which just happened to be there at the party, Kami, I should say Kami,
yeah,
which means God, which is then the new Kami after the Cell saga. Just happened to be there, so he cured her, he healed her with his magic, and that's when he found out she was actually pregnant.
Just to bridge
that could have been found out so easily in any other way than not something this ridiculously contrived. And that's one thing it accomplishes, but it really didn't need to exist to accomplish that.
Again, something you could cut out from the movie.
Exactly, and the other thing is one of the random deflected bullets actually end up hitting Bill Sama on the head, and he was none too pleased about it. Thanks again, Gohan. So he was about to destroy the planet because he was pissed, and this is the moment in which Vegeta does the most incredible and humiliating thing he's ever done in his entire life.
Oh yes, this is my favorite scene by far in the whole movie.
Describe it to us, Devar.
To set this up, in order to make Bill forget all about the mean old bullet that hit him in the head and to distract him from being annoyed and destroying the Earth, Vegeta goes up on stage, gets ready, and does a little dance while going bingo, bingo, bingo.
I don't think I can actually bring myself to even describe what this dance was. It's as if they took La Macarena and the duck dance, and they mixed them together with a blender, and you created something that would outshine Gangnam Style in ridiculousness. At the end of it, Bill Sama was so turned off by this pathetic display of self-humiliation that he said, "You know what? Never mind. I'm not in the mood anymore." Just
believe us, folks. If you go see this movie, that scene is the most worthy reason to see this movie next to the fight scene.
Actually, I'd say the next one is more worthy of that. Because, we said this whole Pilaf segment took about 15 to 20 minutes to do, which is ridiculous. And it accomplished exactly nothing from a narrative standpoint. Because, Bill Sama was about to cause a ruckus, a planetarian ruckus, or a fracas. Fracas ruckus. And Vegeta stopped him by doing the stupid dance. That's all it accomplished. And then there is immediately the next scene, in which Majin Buu refuses to share his puddings with Bill Sama. Bill Sama gets pissed off and he starts fighting everyone. So the world almost gets blown up because random Majin Buu, out of nowhere, in a scene that was about 3 minutes long, was being an egotistical douchebag. That scene took 3 minutes to do. The Pilaf segment was like 20 minutes long. Why? Honestly, this scene was really funny. I mean, the confrontation between Bill Sama and Majin was the epitome of childishness. I mean, Bill Sama asked very kindly, "Hey, can I have some of your pudding?" And Majin was like, "You can't have any of my pudding. I want your pudding. If you don't eat your meat, you cannot have your pudding. How could you want pudding if you don't eat your meat? No, not really says that, but I was feeling in the mood to that made me think of Pink Floyd. So the pudding, I want that pudding, and you know, can I have pudding? So Majmul licks all the pudding he had, and then eats it, and then he rises and he has the gall to threaten the god of destruction to turn him into a cookie and eat him as well. Okay. If I were Bill Sama, I would have pulverized the guy on the spot. Okay, but you know what? We criminally forget to mention his assistant.
Oh yeah, Wiz.
Wiz is amazing. Also, I mean, the back and forth exchanges between him and Bill Sama are by far the absolute best thing in the film. Okay, this guy.
I agree on that one.
This guy is the epitome of camp and girly. Okay, even by anime villain standards. He has this laid back, snarky attitude that's kind of respectful, but it's also kind of not really respectful at all to Bill Sama. And he's just, you know, it feels like the guy is actually making fun of him on his back, but also following around to humor him, whatever his venture might be. And I like the fact that while Bill Sama goes nuts and starts fighting with everyone at the party, which means all the characters, all other characters we don't really care about, Wiz is like, you know, ordering sushi at a sushi stand, not to fit.
Yes.
Oh, this is so good. Nom, 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 nom. And
can I have more of this? Can I have seconds?
Not seconds. Can I? Okay. At some point, Bill Sama is about to destroy the entire planet and says, "Hey, Wiz, I'm about to destroy the planet. Get off the sushi stand." Yeah, and
he has the goal to basically.
He has the stand. He turns to him and he's flying. Okay, in a minute, and then turns back to the guy on the sushi stand. Hey, can I have this food to go away? I think this planet is about to go up, blow up or something. It's beautiful. The way he's so laid back. It's pure comedy gold. I mean, it was.
I just love the chemistry between him and Bill.
Yes, they're the perfect. Honestly, honestly, these two need to get their own show, and I would watch it so much. They need to get their own spin-off. They need to have their own series. They are just. They are fun. They are great. They are just
every week. How will they avoid Bills from destroying the planet?
Will Bill Sama actually have enough of Wiz's antics, food antics? because I cannot delay the destruction of the planet just because you wanted sushi.
And stop looking at the ice cream stand. We're not going there.
All the while Bill Sama is like, if I can't have any pudding, nobody can. Destruction. It's beautiful. It is so funny. It is so funny. Okay,
I loved it. It's like that's what sets him up to destroy the entire world. Pudding. Something you can get anywhere. And he goes, no, I wanted that pudding. I had my heart set on that pudding.
Okay, now this is beautiful because this is Dragon Ball Z, acknowledging and embracing his silliness, but not to the point that it becomes a self-parody. It's making fun of all these over-the-top villains that try to destroy the planet because they just wanted to, by giving this one a really petty reason to do so. It's aware of its silliness, it's aware of its shortcomings, it's embracing them, making fun of them, but not all the while, though, not forgetting what made Dragon Ball Z beloved in the first place. And we're going to get to that part, finally.
Yes, the moment that everyone waited for. The action.
The moment in which Vegeta, ever so briefly, managed to surpass Goku's strength because Bill Sama had the nerve to slap Bulma across the face. And to be fair, Bulma strike first.
Yeah, she slapped him
it was
across the face.
Okay, I love Bulma's guts in this because she's like, how he just approaches the god of destruction, even though she didn't know he was the god of destruction, but he was clearly more powerful than anyone else, and
yet she went and up to him.
How dare you ruin my birthday party? And then she slaps him across the face, and then he slaps her back. To be honest, I did not like that.
No, then again, that could just be Bill's not caring about gender at all.
No, well, sure, why not? So at the point Vegeta just loses it. How dare you hit my woman?
What?
And he goes babyface wrestling mode because you hit my woman. Oh, I'm suddenly Hulk Hogan. I'm gonna get you, brother. The power of Vegeta Mania is gonna run through your butt. I am Super Saiyan. I'm a Super Saiyan Hogan Maniac, brother. And ever so briefly, he kind of puts up a fight, but it doesn't really do anything to Bill Sama because, as I said, he's completely over the top. And as soon as Bill Sama realizes he's not the Super Saiyan God he was looking for, he just applies some sort of sleeping move and is knocked out. And at this point, Bill Sama is about to destroy the planet. Then Goku finally shows up.
Being fashionably late to the party.
As always. Okay, he was absent for the majority of the film, except cutting back every once in a while through training session on the planet of the King Kai, which didn't accomplish anything. And he comes back finally, as always, when he's fashionably... Okay, I think at this point Dragon Ball Z is kind of making fun of himself once again, because it's been always like this, you know. Everyone fights the bad guy, everybody loses, and then he shows up fashionably late and fights off the bad guy. Okay, at this point, things start to be interesting. Again, mostly for comedic effect for the most part, because instead of fighting immediately, they say, "Hey, Bill Sama, please don't destroy the planet." Goku, being significantly more careful than he was before, that needs to be acknowledged, he says, "Hey, if you can bring out this Super Saiyan God thingy, will you please not destroy the planet?" Bill Sama is like, okay. Okay.
Yes, he decides to hold off on destroying the planet because they could offer the possibility of him fighting a powerful Saiyan God.
But what about Bulma's birthday party? What about Pilaf? What about Mai and the Trunks and all the fanfiction shipping fans are going to make of this too? What about all of that, the truly important stuff? Pushed under the rug, as it should.
As per usual.
No, as it should.
As it should.
Really. Okay, so what happens next, Devar?
I believe they call upon Shenron for advice.
Call up on the Shenron. Na, 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 na. Okay, honestly, I don't think Sharon. All Sharon does is providing an exposition. It doesn't even grant a wish. He just tells them how to unlock the Super Saiyan God because he somehow knows that. Okay, that's always bothering me about the Shenron dragon. Okay, follow my reasoning here.
Okay.
The Dragon Balls were created by a Namekian, the original Kami, right?
Yeah.
Which means also the dragon was created along with the balls, right?
Yes.
So they would comprise all the knowledge Kami
of that time.
Kami had at the time about what he knew about the universe and all that. So how does Shenron's knowledge actually include things like a folk tale of the Saiyan people that was forgotten even by the Saiyan people, because that's what Super Saiyan God is, and that's why nobody really knew about it, because it's such a forgotten folk tale. Not even the Super Saiyan, not even the Saiyans, not even Vegeta remembered about it. And yet, not even the God of Destruction knew about it. And yet, Shenron. I'm fumbling on all the names tonight. Shenron knew about it. How? Why?
I think it's narrative laziness to basically just somehow shoehorn Shenron into the movie to have a cameo.
Because you cannot have Dragon Ball without the Dragon Balls, apparently. Except you can. Most of the time you can.
Yes.
Honestly, I think Dragon Ball would have been such a better series without the actual namesake Dragon Balls, because nobody ever dies, really, and the tension. Then there is no tension if nobody dies. But anyway, okay. So do you remember what the actual folk tale, what the actual explanation was to fabricate the Super Saiyan God?
Basically, getting ki, I think it was, from people. I think it was.
Okay.
That.
Okay. Basically, you needed five pure-hearted
Saiyans. That's it.
Well, not pure, good-hearted Saiyans to give their energies.
Oh yes, I remember this,
guy.
and they didn't have 5 at the time.
No,
but
well,
yet,
actually, they did have 5 because Videl was preggy.
Yes,
and then when it comes in, and so they failed the first time, and then the second time they try again. Of course, they put all their hopes to Goku because Goku, they know he is the strongest, so they would have a better chance to do so.
As always.
But then again, I like the fact that Vegeta, for the entirety of Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta was this character that was obsessed in becoming the strongest, and he was pissed off that Goku was always one step ahead of him. So when he actually gave up on that pointless pride of his, he started to become he became a much better person. He grew up to be a much better person. He matured. He had an actual arc and a growth, something that Goku never had, because Goku never had to deal with the fact that he was not the strongest. So one way or the other, he would always become the strongest and defeat all the most powerful opponents. He was never in the position in which he had to acknowledge that he was not the strongest, like Vegeta was. But that, my friend, is about to change. And that is really the brilliancy of this film, because it is such a simple concept, but when applied to something like Dragon Ball, it
feels refreshing. It's refreshing.
It's refreshing. It's refreshing. Moreover, it gives justice. It justifies you being a fan of it in the first place, because it's the ultimate reward. It's Goku finally learning a lesson, finally maturing and growing as a character, finally realizing what's really important, which is not being the strongest, as he always thought. What's really important is what he already has. He has family and friends, and he was about to lose all of them because of his pride. Because he wanted to fight the God of Destruction that he could not be beaten. That could not be beaten. And when he realizes that, that's the moment, really, you fan of Dragon Ball Z, that you have been fan of for many years, being a fan of this franchise. That is the moment you feel, yes, you realize this Dragon Ball Z has grown up, much like you, adult fan of the show, have grown up. It gives you this sense of completion that the original show never had, really. This is possibly the best kind of footnote, the best kind of ending the entirety of Akira Toriyama's work could possibly hope for. And it baffles me that it took so long to finally get to it.
I just thought it was going to keep on going with the same thing over and over until he drove someone crazy.
Instead they said no. Goku is not the strongest. Bills is the strongest. It's implied that Goku is not only is not able to beat him at full strength, not even with the power of the Super Saiyan God behind him. It is also implied that Goku will probably never be able to reach his level, and that is actually okay. That is actually a-okay, because being the strongest, being the manliest and the strongest, is not important. Caring for what you already possess, for the things you should be thankful for, that is more important. Which is the exact opposite of what was the message of the entirety of Dragon Ball up until this point. It was always Goku has to be the strongest. Goku has to beat everyone, one way or the other. Goku has to be the strongest. Everything else is not important. So yes, this is so refreshing. This is so good.
That's why I love this movie, just for that moment.
Okay, perhaps we should explain how we get to that moment. So, Devar,
Yes.
I am the only one.
I know.
I tend to talk for most of it, but I'm sorry about that. But okay, please describe to us what happens after Goku gains Super Saiyan God powers by this
Super Saiyan God powers, which
for the power of plot contrivance.
After getting the Saiyan God powers, which look suspiciously like just a red hue of aura, like Kaioken.
Yes, I thought so.
I was always confused me that bit. It's like it's just Kaioken looking aura. Never mind. But anyway, I'm getting off topic there. He goes through this grandiose fight that takes him through the city and the sea and through caves and.
I have a minor nitpick about the fighting scene.
Yeah.
Okay, you might notice that for the majority of it, the two character models of Bill, Sama, and Goku are 2D, but they move around. They move around in a obviously three-dimensional CG environment. It doesn't look good in the slightest. Japan could never, has never, and most likely will never get the fusion, this mixed technique right. Every time Japan tries to animate 2D characters moving in a 3D environment, or even fusing, or even having CG characters with 2D aesthetics like cell shading, it has always looked bad. Always. This is obviously even high budget productions like this one always look distracting, bad, or downright distracting. And this was one of the better looking ones, and it was still so distracting. It looked like a video game cutscene, and not in a good way. Now, I just watched episode 13 of the season 3 of Legend of Korra, which is a TV show, and therefore it has a TV budget. They have a similar fighting scene at the end of it between Korra and this Zaire guy, and they fight in mid-air, and they move around in a semi CG rendered environment. I could be wrong about that, but it looked far more natural and far more implemented, the character models with the environment. With the CG environment, they usually look far more well implemented whenever there is a use of CG in this show. And this show has a TV budget. Dragon Ball Z has a
movie
budget. But again, Japan has never been able to get the technique right. And it shows even in this film. And that, I'm sorry, but that since the majority of the fight was like that, it distracted me the whole time.
Well, because I'm not technically savvy as you are fairies, I didn't notice, sadly. So, I'm terrible at noticing those things.
But anyway,
so like I said, the fight scene, I forgot how long it takes, but it is a glorious fight that goes nearly everywhere from what I could fathom, like through water and seas and caves and somehow end up in space.
How is Goku able to breathe in space? I don't know.
No one cares. Everyone will say he's Batman's son or something who can breathe in space. No one cares at this point. Goku and Bills are fighting in space, and again, it is as you expect from Dragon Ball Z. It is glorious to no end. They're firing off energies, blasts, and Bill's is probably the most fantastic because it's like something akin to having the sun thrown at you. And it is wonderful because Goku doesn't win.
Yes, we've been saying that for like I have been saying that for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
About as long as the Pilaf scene. I've been saying that Goku has to learn the lesson that he's not the strongest, and he gets thoroughly defeated. He realizes he cannot beat Bill-sama, but he does go out with a blast. Though.
Yes, it's not like as if he didn't try. He did try his hardest, bless his heart. But at that point, when he finds that he cannot hope to beat him, let me gather my thoughts on this one, because at that point, I just was blown away by another thing, slightly blown away by a bit of extra world building, as I would put it.
Oh yes, that thing. Okay, so not only Goku gets defeated, but not only Goku gets defeated, but he has to learn that is not even the strongest opponent Bill-sama has ever faced. He is the second strongest opponent he's ever faced. The strongest would be
Whiz.
Yes, because Whiz.
Because Whiz is Bill's former master. And it was the former Lord of Destruction.
Which means Bill-sama learned to fight from Whiz, the campy girly one, which is about as strong as him. Not only that, but we also learned that Bill-sama, while being the strongest in this universe, is not the strongest peer, because there are multiple universes, 12 actually. Suddenly Dragon Ball Z has become the DC multiverse. And we learned that there are even gods of destructions in those other universes that might be even stronger than Bill-sama. So Goku just has to stand in awe and just, what's the word I'm looking for? He has to accept the reality that
he cannot
not only cannot hope to ever match any of those guys or gals or whoever they are, but he has to actually come to terms with his mortality, with how much not significant at all he is in the great design of the cosmos, of the universe. And for him to learn that's amazing. That's beautiful. That's great. Also, to throw salt into the wound, it turns out that Bill-sama was actually fighting Goku only at 70% of his power. 70%. He wasn't even using all of his power. Just wow.
What a guy.
What a guy.
After that lovely scene that I just applauded.
I felt like applauding too. I mean, wow.
I could have just left it there and been happy, knowing, that could have been the way the movie ended. But it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
It goes on for a bit longer, where Bills decides, after coming back down to the planet Earth, he goes, now I must destroy the Earth. And everyone is getting ready for this. And suddenly, wow, you just blew up a piece of the Earth.
A really small piece, says Whiz. So he's like, yeah, okay, see, okay. And then there's an exchange with Bulma. Hey, can I come to a party of yours next time? I'll try to behave. And all right. And Bulma says, all right. I'm going to have a pool full of pudding just for you.
Yeah.
Okay, and everyone is happy. Everybody wins. So Bill-sama again. He acts like a spoiled brat at times, But when you get down to it, he's actually far more intelligent, mature, and wise than you would expect. He taught a lesson of humility to Goku. He is the only one who could ever do that. You all, the girl destruction.
I know, because Bill's it was childish. Only a child could teach another child the greatest of all lessons.
And I like the fact that Bill-sama says, "Hey Goku, would you like to be the next God Destruction when I retire?" And Goku's like, "No, thanks. I think I'm done with this, with all of this." Okay, but there is well. Let me tell you about this lovely scene towards the end. You know, okay, so Bill-sama and Whis go back to their planet, and Whis brought some sushi from the sushi stand.
With some wasabi.
Oh, the wasabi scene. Okay. I love this because okay, so okay, so Goku has this epic fight with Bill-sama. He loses. Bill-sama was at 70% of his power. He was so unreachable and unfathomable, and Bill-sama gets defeated by Wasabi because he couldn't handle the spice. So now the scale of power level is Goku at the lowest, and then Goku, then Bill-sama a bit taller, and then Wasabi, it's like right at the top. Wasabi is the most powerful force in the universe now.
Yeah, sends him flying everywhere. It took Whis to stop him from flying.
And I was impressed that Whis only, with a karate chop on the back of his neck just puts him to sleep. That Whis might even be stronger. I don't know, or maybe has.
Well, he is the former Lord of Destruction and mentor. Of course he would be
an apprentice. The apprentice should be able to surpass its mentor. The mentor. That's the whole point of being an apprentice. Also, if he is the new God of Destruction, clearly he must have earned it.
Yes, true.
Honestly, now I want to know their backstory. I want to know how the two came to meet and how one succeeded to the other.
That's, to be honest, I actually would like to see that happen as well, and I'd like to learn more about them.
It needs to be its own show,
or at least an extra arc if an anime series comes up again, which is very doubtful.
But maybe another film will come along if this was successful. But then again, it doesn't really need to, because this is the best, like I said, this is the best kind of conclusion Dragon Ball Z could ever hope to have. Horrible Emperor Pilaf segment notwithstanding.
Yes, we ignore the extra Pilaf section at the end of the movie as well.
So that was Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. Thumbs up.
I put my thumbs up as well as my big toe thumbs up. This movie is gloriously hilarious, and it's full of the action that you know and love, but it throws you the curveball that feels very like a breath of fresh air that it really needed in the DBZ universe.
Bill-sama better be in the next Dragon Ball Z video games. Bill-sama better be in the next films. Bill-sama better have his own manga.
Actually, I'll surprise you there. There is a video game that actually has Bill's and Whis playable, I think. That's out right now. The only problem is...
Honestly, that would be they are a bit too overpowered. I mean, in these games you would have. In these games you could have Krillin actually defeating Bill-sama, and that's no. That's just no. That's just no. Just no.
That's the whole point of video games. They have characters.
No, I know. I just couldn't get to it because it would be just too ludicrous. There is so much imbalance in between the various characters. It's just.
Hey, it could be worse. Yamcha could have beaten him.
Oh, what?
Yamcha could have beaten Bills.
Nobody cares about Yamcha. Nobody. Nobody.
Even for me?
Nobody cares about Yamcha.
Okay. I'll take your word on it.
So anyway, Battle of Gods. Actually, the battle itself was the least interesting aspect. I mean, compare it to the comedy at play and the ending.
And the characters.
And the characters. Again, Bill Sama and Wiz, they steal the show completely and thoroughly. They are the show. The film, it's all about them. I mean, you could have just them running around, doing their stuff, and it would be just fantastic, just perfect. I would love to have John Delancey playing as Bill Sama and Hugh Laurie as Wiz. That would be so funny.
Oh, Lord of Destruction Bills, I'm off to go get myself some crumpets.
Good. Meanwhile, I shall spread some chaos. Or something.
Anyway, I think this is over because I think we babbled on for a bit long.
Yes, now this was a Battle of Gods. Battle of Podcast Gods, or something like that. I have to work out a title for this. But anyway, this has been Madhog the Master.
And I have been Devar Akbaron.
Shala, hey
Hey,
shala,
shala,
singing more random words are throwing at you. Energy, balls and sushi. Do not eat wasabi. It's bad for your complexion.
And then eat the wasabi and drink.
Alright, good night everyone.
Take care.
Hashtag Bill Sama rules.
Which is awesome. Hashtag.
Also.
Close.
Hashtag Bill Sama with stand-up comedy routine. Okay, bye.